So I've picked a self-tape audition and I've decided that I'm going to vlog and share the process of preparing for that. And I've actually had quite a few quite condensed together. And this one, I have an option of 2 different scenes and they say you can just film one, but I think I might film both and give them options just to stand out and up my chances, because I think it's very difficult to get considered, so I will try and do everything that I can. And they've also sent the whole script for the short film, so I'll make sure to go over that. But I thought I'd point out the fact that I have done other tapes, because one came in and I think I only had like a day and a half to film it, which is all right, but like obviously that means that then I want to focus my time on that one, and this one's got a later deadline. So I think that's an element of self-tapes that maybe people don't talk about as much, is that you have life commitments, you have other commitments, and you have multiple different self-tapes sometimes that you have to do, so you have to arrange and prioritize. And for example, I'm getting a train tomorrow, so I will take my script and take everything that I need in order to be able to prepare on that. And it's finding moments, like if you're working, that you can get your script and you can learn and make the most of your time. And also I think I am losing my voice a little bit. It's the time of year when all of these different colds go around and people might not feel vocally on their best form, because lots of these kind of things tend to affect the voice first. So I think it's important, especially at this time of year as actors, that we try to stay well, take your vitamins, stay hydrated, get enough sleep if you can, and just find all of these ways to maintain your voice, and probably like stop filming random YouTube videos and save your voice for when you need it. But oh well, I'm doing this, and I know that I have a few days until I will be back, because I'm going away to see family. So I know that when I come back, hopefully my voice will have recovered. So it's a few days later and I've returned, and on the way back I sort of managed to really learn my lines on the train. Like I could put more time into it so I could feel even more secure and solid on the lines, but I sort of did learn them on the train. But that did make me reflect on certain things that we do as actors. I don't know if all actors do this, but I was like mouthing lines, because I feel like sometimes like I can think about the lines, but then I can't make them like come out of my mouth and me say them. So I feel like in order to learn lines, I have to be mouthing the lines or actually saying the lines. So doing that on a train in public, like I've done that so many times, or like on the bus sometimes if I need to get a bus somewhere. But like I've just started to think that like to other people I will just look unhinged. It's made me reflect on other classes as well I've had before, where they're like, as long as you're not annoying people and you're not being like really loud in public, if there's certain things that you need to do for auditions, like on public transport, you're never going to see these people again. And do you want to be feeling like in a worse position and worse prepared for an audition and not book a job? Or do you want to look a little bit weird for a few minutes and then get where you need to get to? However, unfortunately, I feel like I've still got a little bit of a cold, to the point that it would influence my performance. And I feel like I've really been told, like, if you're feeling ill to the point where it's not going to be your best and it's going to put out a negative portrayal of you compared to what you could do, maybe just waiting a day and hoping that the slot to submit tapes is still open is better. Because the thing is with tapes on Mandy is that they can close early, and then that's really annoying, because I've learnt lines before and been ready to tape them and then I can't submit them, or like there's no point filming them anymore. But I think waiting another day is worth it, because I literally don't have that much voice. I'm just trying to take the positives, that it means I've got more time to work on the lines and to think about what I want to do, and I've read the script, so I have just more time to think about it and feel really solid and natural in all of the lines. So I'm now in my self-tape setup and I'm about to film it in a minute, but I just went back over, and something that I think is important maybe to do is to reread all of the information again right before filming it, just to be aware of all of the information to do with the character and the tape and the requirements and the project. Now hopefully I will be able to get it in 1 or 2 takes, but I think something that's important is not panicking when you don't get the lines, because I like to be able to be like, oh, I've got it though, the next take we could do it. Like if I mess up on the lines and get caught up messing up some lines, which sometimes happens, I think it's important the narratives that you tell yourself in between the takes and the things that you say, because otherwise if you're like, oh no, I can't do it, then you're going to tense up and you're actually not going to be able to do it because you're freaking yourself out. Whereas if you stay calm and tell yourself that you're going to do it, then you're able to give your best performance to the tape, I do think. So I need to just stop talking now and try and film it. So it's the next day, I filmed the tapes, I sent them off, and actually if there's any other different processes to do with acting, training, all of the kind of stuff that goes into this kind of career that you would like to see me vlog the process of and talk through, then please do let me know in the comments, because I do think it is sometimes a little bit difficult to share the self-tape process, because obviously I'm not going to share the actual material and script online because that's confidential audition material. But I feel like in filming so many different self-tapes, I've learned that the process and experience of filming each one is so different and teaches you different things, and also the script really affects your process and the amount of information that you're given in advance. Like for this one, I was given the whole script of the whole short film, so being able to read all of that really allowed me to put that kind of context into perspective. Like there was also information about the backstory of the character, and also I knew directly where that scene was coming from within the film. So I feel like that influences stuff a lot, because sometimes you get just one scene and you're not allowed to know anything more. And then that's got its own set of challenges within itself, because there might be questions sometimes that you have about the plot or about the context that you can't find the answers for if you just have the sides. So you've got to learn to work with that and problem solve and try and understand and do more kind of text analysis to really understand the characters and the story through just the script. And I think the script also influences the process and how long it takes to film it in ways that you might not just expect, because it's not just the length of the lines that affect stuff, but it's the flow of the script and how easy that is to learn. Do the lines follow after each other, or is there a lot of different interruptions and different thoughts? And I think interruptions are interesting as well, because sometimes it's only half a line and you're meant to interrupt, and then that's more of a different process, I feel, because then you've got to learn when is the point where your character decides that actually they're not going to let the other character finish a thought, and then you've got to learn that. And I feel like there's more opportunities as well to accidentally mess up the script if you have to interrupt a line at a certain point. So with that, like to problem solve that, I try to either ask my self-tape reader to continue an extra few words, or I try to jump in a bit sooner so it doesn't feel like there's just half a line before, and it's very much like this is half a line and now's the point where I'm meant to speak. Like I might interrupt half a word earlier than I'm meant to, just so it feels natural. But that tape's done now, and I feel like the more tapes you do, the more you get used to that kind of audition rejection, because I feel like now it doesn't really faze me at all, because I know that I will have so many auditions to do in my life. So I know that most of them won't lead anywhere, and that's just part of this job, is that you have to learn scripts and send stuff off, and most of them you'll be wrong for because it's so competitive. So that's what I've done now. So that's my little debrief on my self-tape. Thank you so much to everyone for watching, and if you want to see any more from me, please do subscribe, and thank you. Bye.